I was talking of the combined natural environment and natural resource related components accounted for by the DENR, by the DOST, by the GOCCs, and Special Purpose Fund. However, if it is only the DENR, the cut is even bigger. We compute 16.3% below obligations of the current year. That's why one is led to interpret that the environment is being given a lower priority in the coming year. And the decline in obligations in the sector is accounted for by the following. A drop in the allocation to the DENR by about 2 billion pesos. And then the end of the economic stimulus fund for the Bantay Gubat and Bantay Kalikasan program worth 1 billion pesos. And we note also that for 2009, the target of 1% of the total budget was reached. But unfortunately for the coming year, this is going to be reduced to only 0.86% of the total national obligation. And to me, this is a manifestation that the environment is being given a lower priority compared to the other priorities of this government. May I now go to my next slide?
Madam Chair, Honorable colleague, it is now in our bodies in our court to ask even the Senate for help in order to increase the budget, because the budget of the DENR, only of the DENR, was decreased by 16.43%. And for the information of my colleagues, added to the DENR is the national, the NCIP, and the LRA were added as agencies under the responsibility of the DENR.
Thank you. Well, very quickly, that's how we look at the various components of the DENR budget, divided by the office, divided among the office of the Secretary, EMP, LRA, and GB, etc., etc. Now,
even the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development, Madam Chair, Honorable colleague, is asking for an increase of 10 million pesos. And that should be taken from the budget of the DENR.
Yes. May I go to my next slide? The next slide, please. Now, we know that forest management of 3.4 billion accounts for 31.9% of the department's budget. But this amount is actually 10% below the current 2009 budget. So, is forest management being given a low priority this coming year? Madam Sponsor, distinguished sponsor.
With apologies, Madam Chair, distinguished colleague, I think this question should be asked to the DDM because they're the ones cutting the budget of the DENR.
Thank you. And then again,
I recall that last year the Dept for reforestation was 2 billion, but it was cut to 1.5, and the 5 to 1.5 billion rather than 2, but the Dept was 2 billion.
And very alarming, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, is that the budget allocated for protected areas and wildlife management dropped by almost 40% compared to 2009.
Yes, Madam Chair, that is correct. That is correct. And that is why I would ask my colleagues, why are we asking now and asking the DENR for all these projects? We criticize them for their non-compliance,
no allocation for Tubataha Reef, for Apo Reef, for Mount Banahaw, and San Cristobal, Mount Kitanglad, Northern Negros National Park, and Central Cebu National Park. Mount Banahaw, Mr. Speaker, the city sponsor. The environmentalists have been mentioning the degradation of Mount Banahaw as one of the reasons why there is so much flooding in the area, in the Laguna, Metro Manila area. But here, we are not allocating anything according to your presentation.
Colleague, I thank you for putting this on record, because actually, yes, they have not been given any budget.
But why did the DENR not fight for this?
They fought for it, Your Honor. They fought for it, but it was cut.
Tubataha Reef, for example?
That is why it is actually providential that Your Honor has mentioned this, and in order to call the attention of the DBM, because they were the ones who deleted it from the budget of the DENR.
Well, but we'd like to be convinced that the DENR fought for this. For example, in the case of the Tubataha, I think it was only this year that the Tubataha was being mentioned as one of the natural wonders of the world. It competed for top honors. And our reply is not to give it an allocation as a protected area and under the Protected Areas and Wildlife Management. No allocations, correct me if I'm wrong, no allocations for the coming year.
Precisely, Madam Chair, distinguished colleague, that's why they were asking that they use the NIPA's Integrated Protected Area Fund in order to cover up the deficiency, the fact that there is no budget for this very important, and we are even very proud of Tubataha. It is recognized by the